Well, this one is incredible. Luckey, CEO of weapons company Anduril, just absolutely stunned Joe Rogan. Check this out.
I created the Oculus Rift when I was 19 years old, living in a camper trailer in my garage. And that was really the virtual reality headset that changed the industry, sold that company for billions of dollars. And now that I'm working in the national security space, I've continued to believe that virtual reality, augmented reality is going to be a critical part of our military. The ability to have night vision, thermal vision, but also the ability to see where all the bad guys are, see where all the good guys are by fusing everyone's view together. Think of it almost like a hive mind. If I'm able to see something, you should be able to see it. If a drone can see it, you should be able to see it. Even if it's on the other side of a building, you should be able to see it and effectively have X-ray vision. And I should be able to command and control all these other systems using this heads-up display interface. It just sounds like any science fiction film. These are ideas that have been around for 100 years, but only very recently has it become possible. So this is a new product that we just announced at the Army's conference yesterday. We've been working on it for years using our own money, no taxpayer dollars. It's called Eagle Eye. And it is an integrated ballistics shell. So you've got a helmet, you've got hearing protection, you've got thermal sensors, night sensors, signals intelligence sensors that allow you to detect where cell phones are, where radios are, see that in your view. It even detects where gunshots are, shows them exactly where they're placed and how far they are.
So this is a recreation of it.
This is a video feed of what it is like to use the system. So I've got the helmet on here, and then what I have is this pair of augmented reality glasses. These sync with the helmet and with these sensors. So I can, for example, see where my gun is pointing. I can see where every enemy is. I can see where all of my buddies are. I can see, so like there's a view that's coming up here where you're going to notice a drone picks up a guy behind that container over there. And what's going to happen is when he walks behind that container, I'm able to continue to see where he is and what he's doing. So here's Ghost X is the drone that's watching. So just watch for a moment. So the blue force is my friendlies. So see that little right-hand corner where it sees behind the containers? They're tracking where the bad guy is. They're tracking where my guys are. And then watch when they go behind the container. So I can actually see through it and watch. Now they're engaging the guy over there, and he's down.
Wow.
So actually, I'm going to put on the mission shield. There we go. So this is a system that allows everybody to basically be operating as one combined hive mind, where you can all share a view of the world. And by the way, this view that I have, it's shared now with all of the robots as well. So anything I see, like let's see I see someone inside of a building, every drone and every person now sees that person where he is. It's so crazy that I was born at the right time to actually get to build all of this stuff. So I'm a huge weapons enthusiast. I own about 450 guns, huge number of, I own basically everything that anyone's ever fought in. So ballistic vests, uniforms, boots, gloves, helmets. I collect that stuff. And so one of the cool parts about Eagle Eye is I got to bring all my opinions on what things should be, and I can just jam them into the product. So like the cool thing about this is like if you've ever used hearing protection, notice how it's really tightly integrated. Like it's not flopping around, but I can pop it open, and now I can hear you directly with my own two ears. I can pop that and clip it back in, and I'm able to hear with electronic pass through, and it actually enhances my hearing, so I can hear certain things better. And you'll notice this is ballistic ear protection. So have you ever seen like a high cut helmet where you can have low cut helmets where they protect your ears more, high cut helmets where there's no ballistic protection over your hearing protection? This is ballistic hearing protection. So when I put this on, everything is protected with armor, even over the soft tissue in my ears and around my upper neck.
Does it have the same functionality as like Walker game ears where you can amplify outside noises, but then when a loud boom comes off, your ear is protected?
Exactly, but it's even better. We're using an array of, so those ones, they have two microphones. Like the Walkers, they typically have one here, one here. What we're doing is a phased array of microphones so that I can actually steer the amplification beam.
Your footsteps over in this left direction, let's point in that.
Or even crazier, imagine that I'm looking at a target with this, and I look at that target, it can cancel out all of the other sound that it knows is coming out of phase with that direction and distance, and it can give me just the sound there coming from that as best it can. So it can give me not just enhanced hearing, but directional enhanced hearing. I can say, I want to listen to what that guy 100 yards over there is saying. I'm not promising you'll be able to hear, but you'll be able to hear it a lot better than you would without it. I believe that I am the world's best head-mounted display designer, bar none. I took the crown with the Oculus Rift. I think I still hold it. And so I was able to kick the program into shape. We built our own hardware, and we've built Eagle Eye over the last couple of years. And it basically solves all the problems that the program had. It is the thing that I think is actually going to end up on the heads of every soldier. Here, try taking these on, and you'll feel they're a bit heavier than normal glasses. But the other thing about them is that they're also ballistic rated glasses. So you see in the front and then also on the sides, these can take pieces of frag. So if someone's attacking you with a drone and it blows up, this is going to keep those from going into your orbitals, which is a pretty important function for glasses. If you're using this, for example, to like give you automated instructions on how to repair your Humvee, for example, I don't need to have that ballistic cover on the front because I don't need that extra, like I don't expect that I'm going to have an explosion happen and you know, protect my eyes. But you can also do things like have different types of protection. For example, we have another mission shield that protects you from laser energy weapons. So it's actually tuned where now it makes your vision turn. I probably shouldn't talk about exactly what color because it allows people to figure out what frequencies we're blocking. But there are mission shields that you can put on that will protect you from weapons that we know China has. China has a bunch of directed energy laser weapons, some of them for taking out drones, others designed to blind human troops.
Whoa.
And so we're designing mission shields that protect you from those types of emissions. The United States has weapons that are designed to temporarily blind people as well. Now, the thing is, temporary blinding is very close to permanent blinding. And it's a thin line. It's dependent on the range. It's dependent on the power level. Any system that can temporarily blind people at long range is capable of blinding people permanently at long range. It's just that's the line you walk. Like if you want it to work in any fog, you need more power. If you want it to work at long ranges, you need more power. But like, for example, imagine we deployed a bunch of these glasses and they had the laser filters built in from the start. Now imagine that China shifts their laser frequencies 10 nanometers so that it bypasses that filter. Imagine if I had to just replace all my AR glasses. That's not acceptable.
Well, that was absolutely incredible. This helmet literally gives soldiers X-ray vision by connecting everyone's view into one shared hive mind. Palmer explains that if a drone sees someone behind a building, every soldier wearing the helmet can see that person too, even through walls. He demonstrated some footage where drones track an enemy behind a container and the soldier can continue watching the target's exact location through solid objects. The system fuses thermal sensors, night vision, signals intelligence, and feeds from all drones and teammates into one augmented reality display. He calls it operating one combined hive mind. This is fundamentally changing what human perception means in combat. Right now, if an enemy hides behind a wall, you lose visual contact and have to guess where they went. With this system, that concept becomes obsolete. The drone above keeps tracking, your teammate on the other side keeps watching, the thermal sensors pick up heat signatures, all that information gets fused together and displayed directly in your vision as if the wall doesn't exist. The hive mind aspect is what makes this so powerful. Every sensor, every camera, every perspective from every soldier and drone gets combined into one shared reality. If anyone sees something, everyone sees it instantly. Think about how that changes tactics. You can't hide anymore. You can't flank a position because they'll see you coming from multiple angles simultaneously. Ambushes become nearly impossible when the enemy has 360-degree awareness from dozens of sources at once. The system also tracks cell phones and radios, so it knows where enemy communications are happening even if you can't see the people. This is the kind of technology that creates an overwhelming advantage. It's not just better equipment, it's a completely different way of experiencing the battlefield where information that used to be scattered across multiple people and devices is now shared instantly in everyone's vision. The other side has to fight blind while you can see everything. That's not a fair fight, that's dominance. And the crazy part, the company building this tech didn't even exist a few years ago. Anduril is one of the most impressive companies in America because they disrupted the defense industry without leeching off the government. Palmer Luckey says that they developed the Eagle Eye helmet using their own money with no taxpayer dollars. They've been working on it for years privately before announcing it at the Army's conference. The defense industry has been dominated by the same massive contractors for decades. Companies like Lockheed and Raytheon have basically monopolized military contracts and move incredibly slowly. They charge enormous amounts and take years to deliver anything. Anduril comes in and builds cutting-edge military hardware with their own capital, then shows it to the military and says, here's what we made, want to buy it? That's the complete opposite of how defense contracting normally works. Usually, companies lobby for contracts, get taxpayer funding for research and development, then deliver something years late and over budget. They're essentially leeching off government money with minimal risk because they're getting paid whether the product works or not. Anduril took all the risk themselves. They spent years and their own money developing this helmet. If the military didn't want it, that's their loss, not the taxpayers' loss. That shows genuine confidence in their product. Palmer created the Oculus Rift as a teenager living in a trailer. Now he's building military technology that's legitimately better than what the massive defense contractors are producing. That's American innovation at its finest, a young guy with a vision of disrupting an entire entrenched industry. But Anduril isn't just building cool tech for the sake of it, there's a deeper strategic philosophy here. Like Palantir, Anduril believes having the best technology prevents war because nobody wants to fight with someone they know they'll lose against. Palmer discusses how the systems protect against Chinese direct energy weapons designed to blind troops. They created mission shields that block specific laser frequencies. Palmer explains the US has similar weapons for temporary blinding. This is the peace through strength philosophy played out in technology. When you have equipment that's so superior that fighting you is basically suicide, rational actors choose not to fight you. Right now, China has laser weapons specifically designed to blind American soldiers. That's a real threat on a future battlefield. If every American soldier has protection against those weapons built into their helmets, then suddenly that entire Chinese weapon program becomes useless. That's deterrence. When your enemy knows their weapons won't work against you, they think twice about starting a conflict. It's not about wanting to fight, it's about making fighting you such a bad idea that nobody tries. The same principles apply to the whole system. When your soldiers can see through walls, detect every radio signal, track every movement with perfect awareness, the other side has to ask themselves if they really want this fight. The answer becomes obvious pretty quick. This is why having Anduril on our side matters so much. They're not just making weapons to blow things up, they're making systems that create such an overwhelming information and capability advantage that potential enemies look at it and decide conflict isn't worth it. Palmer specifically mentions these are technologies designed to counter what China has developed. That's strategic thinking. You don't wait for a war to start and then realize you're vulnerable. You build the defenses now. Peace doesn't come from everyone being equally weak. Peace comes from good guys being so strong that bad guys don't dare test them. That's what Anduril and Palantir understand that I think a lot of people miss. We should be grateful these companies are American and working for us, not against us, because whoever has this technology first has a massive advantage, and it's better that it's us. If you found this video of any value, why not consider hitting subscribe? Cheers.